So Brad Pitt's next big blockbuster movie, World War Z, has finally been released, but I missed the showing, so I saw something slightly different. Well, a lot different. Here's my review of Snitch. So Dwayne Johnson has put out many films this year, and this is one of the first, I think, but in the UK the movie has only just been released, so I've only just had a chance to see it. And I wasn't even going to see it because I was going to see World War Z, but it wasn't on, so, well, it was on, but I missed the showing, so, I saw Snitch, and it wasn't bad. So, to start off, the poster makes it look like a typical Dwayne Johnson movie. Dwayne Johnson wants revenge, he's angry, he's standing there like this, or something of the sort. I can't really do it because I'm sitting down, but he's standing there all angry and that, and you just think, yeah, this is another one of those movies where Dwayne Johnson gets a gun, shoots the hell out of people, punches the fuck out of people. It's not like that, actually. Basically, the plot is very, very simple. Dwayne Johnson's son is like talking to his friend on Skype, and his friend asks him to take in some drugs, and he doesn't want to do it and everything, but the friend sends the drugs anyway, and it turns out that he was caught by police. And to reduce his sentence, he dropped Dwayne Johnson's son into it, or The Rock. If you prefer me to say The Rock, I'll say The Rock. He drops The Rock's son into it, and he gets arrested for a maximum of I think it was 30 years. And The Rock basically says to the woman, the police, like jail woman. I don't really know what her position is in this movie. I can't really remember, but he says to her, if I can, set up someone, because his son won't do it, he goes, if I can set up someone, like get someone arrested and everything, can my son be released? And she tells him no. But then she says yes in the end, which always happens in movies, which you don't understand, because if a movie says it's inspired by true events, I really don't think that's how it would have happened. And if it was inspired by true events, that is really unrealistic, because The Rock would never get beat up. There's a scene where he's like pulled out of his car and he's being battered. That would not happen to The Rock. The Rock would go through those guys, no matter how many of them there are. They're pussies, and he's The Rock. He's the guy that made Vin Diesel and Bruce Willis look like pussies in Fast and Furious 6 and G.I. Joe Retaliation. Yeah, those are his other blockbusters. He has many blockbusters this year, and I think this was his first in America, but for the UK this is his most recent. And it is worth going to see, but I would recommend, if you really want to see it, don't see it in the cinema, because I wouldn't say it's worth paying like that amount of money to see it in the cinema. I've got my limited card, so I'll see anything. But I'd say if you're a Dwayne Johnson fan, you will like the movie. But I'd say wait until it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, or just rent it, or or get a discount. It's not worth paying full price for. But it's a good movie. I mean, it starts off and it's like, yeah, this could really happen. This is quite realistic the way it could happen. And we keep going along the movie, and it's sort of realistic. There's a few shootouts and action scenes, but it's not over the top like most Dwayne Johnson or like sort of other action stars such as Jason Statham or Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not realistic like their sort of movies. And this is a different sort of movie for Dwayne Johnson, and it's very, very weird to see him get beat up, because you would never expect that from Dwayne Johnson. He's a tank. He's like the biggest guy I've ever seen in a movie. Like I said, he makes Vin Diesel look like, I don't know, who do he make him look? He makes him look like Charlie Sheen, and Charlie Sheen's pretty, weak, I'd say. I don't know. I've never had a fight with Charlie Sheen. I'm not going to have a fight with Charlie Sheen. Let's stop talking about Charlie Sheen and talk more about Dwayne Johnson being a tank. Now, yeah, he makes everyone look like a pussy in any movie he's in. Even the guy in this movie, if the guy in this movie who was working with Dwayne Johnson, if this was his movie and Dwayne Johnson wasn't in it, he would just, still be like really big. But compared to Dwayne Johnson, he's like a pussy, really. And on scenes on his own, he's fighting people, you're like, no, he can't possibly do that. He's weak. But you only think he's weak because of Dwayne Johnson, which I really like about Dwayne Johnson. He just makes anyone look weak, and So yeah, I'll say this movie is pretty good. The action sequences are pretty good, the ones that they have. There's not many, because it is a different movie, as I've mentioned, to other sort of action movies. I wouldn't say it's a full-out action movie, and I was very surprised to see it was a 12A, because there's scenes where like Dwayne Johnson has to try some cocaine, and you think, why is that in a 12 movie? This movie should be a 15. And some of the action sequences, like the shooting and stuff, it is actually pretty violent for a 12. So if you want to take your 12-year-old to see it, I'd kind of reconsider it. you know, because it is pretty violent and there is drug use in it. But it's a good movie, worth seeing, you know, everything like that. But it's not great. It's not like up to date with other action movies that have been recently released. You know, it's better than some, obviously. But yeah, it's not up to date with other action movies because, you know, it's not really that much of an action movie. It's more of a sort of, it is a thriller, I guess. I mean, I couldn't really say. Sorry about that. I couldn't really say what sort of movie it is because it's so different from other movies what we've seen recently. You know, I'd say if it did have a genre, it'd probably be thriller action. But you know, there's not a lot of it. I mean, at the end sequence, there is some good action. Like, but you know, when it says inspired by true events, that obviously would not have happened. You know, Dwayne Johnson like rams a truck off the side of a bridge and it just explodes into like little pieces. You know, that wouldn't have happened in true life. But you know, the first sort of, you know, before all that happens, you know, you do believe it that it is inspired by a true event. So anyway, I would say that Snitch is a good time. You'll enjoy it if you're a Dwayne Johnson fan or you're a fan of action movies, even though the action isn't really there as much. But you know, it's a good time. I think you'll enjoy it, you know, if you like Dwayne Johnson. And out of 5, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Yeah, 3 stars. I know it's not one of my best ratings, but you know, I didn't want to give it a 4 because that seems too much for this movie. But I didn't want to give it like a 3.5 because it still seems kind of too much. I think 3 is fair for this movie. So yeah, if you like this review and you want to see more, check out my channel, subscribe. I have plenty of videos on there for you to check out. And like my Facebook page, as always, the link is on my channel. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and goodbye.